it's Maureen. If you're new to my channel, I hope you find some bullet journal inspiration here. This month is all about lemons and limes with the Sweet Citrus stamp set, and I'll be using the drink from the Nothing's Better Than stamp set later off camera. Here's my lemon lolly, Daffodil Delight, Granny Apple Green, and lemon lime twist, along with Melon Mambo inks that I'll be using. I'll also be using these Stampin' Up markers and some Tombow markers, some Statler markers, and my favorite Zig pin and a Kuretake marker for hand lettering, along with my blending brushes. Before we get started, here is my July flip through. Each month I share a new bullet journal setup using stamps and ink, all from Stampin' Up. July was a busy month, so I added some pictures to my layout as a memento from the month, just so that I can keep those memories close. And here's another one. Some fun beach days here. Okay, let's jump right on in. I am going to be focusing on bright yellows and greens. I am using my Lemon Lolly ink to ink up this stamp set. I stamped it and then realized that I wanted to add some other coloring to it. So I want to ink it up in the Lemon Lolly, and then I'm going to use my Daffodil Delight ink and add some darker spots in there, just to give it a gradient of color and to make it look more real-like, more lifelike. Now, so when I stamp this, I'm going to realize that I messed up, but it's okay. I'm going to work it out. I am now going to stamp the inside. This stamp set is a two-step stamp set, so you stamp the outline and then you stamp the inner parts. So here I am stamping the inside, and just to fix it, I am going to pull in my marker and color in some areas. So that's a quick fix. If you mess up, you don't really mess up. You just have to find a creative way to keep going with it. So with this stamp set, even though there are 4 images on there, you can use you can ink up one of them, you can ink up 2 of them. I'm inking up one right here because I want to add another lemon to the bottom. You'll see that I am going to be doing that throughout my layout. I may use the full stamp, or I just may use parts of it and stamp 1 or 2 of the images. Here at the top, I am using my hand lettering with the Kuretake marker or brush tip marker. I don't know what it's called. I know it's by Kuretake. And I'm writing out August. And I'm trying to be fancy, and it's taking a long time. When you are doing your hand lettering, it is not a quick process. It does take some time. You may have to go back and fill some things in to make it look perfect. It may not always look perfect, and that's okay, but you just keep going anyway. So I'm adding an outline around it, or a border around my August. So far I've stamped some lemons, but I am going to stamp some limes as well. This stamp set is pretty cool because you can stamp lemons, you can stamp limes, you can make oranges, grapefruit, anything that has this look to it. You can find the right color and you can create that fruit. You can see that I'm adding 2023 here, and then I'm going to grab my lemon lime twist ink, and I'm going to ink up 2 of the images. And if you get some of the ink on your on another image that you don't want, you can just use a baby wipe and wipe the extra parts away. You'll see me do that later. But here I am just stamping those 2, the full lime and then a lime wedge for the outline. And I'm going to grab my other image, the inside part, and I'm going to ink up the inside of the wedge, dab on some darker green there, that Granny Apple Green, to make it look more lifelike. And then I'm going to wipe away that extra so I don't get more of an image than I want. And I'm going to stamp it there. And there you go. So I'm going to add one more lime to the bottom. So I'm going to again ink up that wedge, the outline of the wedge, and I will stamp it to the bottom. Forgive me, I feel like I have a cold, so my voice might be a little different here today. And I'm stamping that up right there. And then I'm going to add the inside once I add a little bit of shading, just just to make the green vary. I like to have a little gradient of color. It just makes it look more real. And here we go. Look at my lemons and my limes. And now I'm going to add Sweet Summer to the top. I am using my Daffodil Delight marker, and now I'm going to use my Lemon Lolly and write the word summer. And I'm going to add one final touch to this. I'm going to grab my Melon Mambo ink and some flowers, and I'm going to stamp a couple of flowers here. This also is a two-step stamp because I have the flower and then I have the inside, the center that I am inking up there. And now we're going to move on to our next layout. So here I am working on my calendar page. My calendar page, I like to use a 5x5 dot grid spacing, so that's what I'm doing here. I feel that 5x5 works really well for me. It's big enough for me to put the different events that are happening for the month, or if someone has a birthday, I can make that fit in the box. I know some people like to do 5x6 spacing. That works as well. They typically do 5 dots wide and 6 dots tall, and that's another format if you want to try that. But really, just do what works for you. This works for me, but in your bullet journal, you do it the way you like it. At the bottom here, I am creating a notes section for next month. So as I continue on with July, continue on with August, if there's some notes that I want to write for September, I can add it to that box. So here you see that I am doing one of my favorite things. I am watercoloring. I am adding some yellow. I'm using the Daffodil Delight to add yellow. I'm running out, so I am putting some of my ink refill in there. And look at how that brightened up the color. And one of the things I noticed about watercoloring, especially with this yellow, when it dries, it gets lighter and lighter. And so I had to keep adding more to my yellow just to make it dark enough. So when I'm done, I'm going to have a yellow box, then a darker yellow box, and I'm going to also have a green. But my yellows are going to be pretty similar in color, so you'll see me going back in quite a few times to try and make that yellow a little bit darker. And I think it works out. You'll see. When I was creating this page, I wasn't really sure about the end product, how it would look when I was done, but the more and more I painted, the more and more I liked it. So I really like this. I can't wait to write in those boxes. I think that's going to be fun. But here's the part where I'm adding in the other yellow that I want to be darker. So this is actually Daffodil Delight. The first yellow was Lemon Lolly. I believe that's what it's called. Yes, Lemon Lolly was my first one. And so with the Daffodil Delight, I wanted it to be darker, so you can see it doesn't look very darker than the other one. So I'm going to go back to that later after I stamp some lemons. But watch this as I stamp these lemons. This is going to be the fun part. So I'm going to do some masking after I dab on my darker Daffodil Delight. I'm going to cover up those boxes. I'm going to stamp down. And look at the outline. I just get such a fulfilled feeling. I feel so fulfilled looking at the end product. Like when I stamp down, I push down. So watch this. I'm going to push down and then take that away. And it's like, voila, it's so beautiful. And I'm going to do the same thing on the right side. So I'm masking again because I want some of the image to look like it's hidden and then some of the image to be sticking out. And then I am going to go back and fill it in, and it's just, I love it. I love the way it looks when I am finished. It just brings me joy. So here I am going back and coloring in that yellow, like I said, trying to make it darker. It does look darker for a little bit. I think it sticks, but yeah, I had to go back. I'm going to add some limes now, doing the same thing. And I think this is the one that I really like to watch when I stamp down. And then when I finish the image, it just brings me joy. It just looks so nice to me. Here we go. So I'm going to ink up that inside. I'm going to dab it with the darker green. And now I'm going to stamp it. And just watch when I lift up the stamp. Just watch what it's like. Oh, it's just so pretty. I think it's pretty. It brings me joy. So this makes me think of a book that I just finished reading. I just finished reading a book called The Midnight Library, and it's by Matt Haig. I don't even know what made me think to read it, but it was so good. It does start off a little dark, but then it gets lighter, and it's a lesson. Like, there's a whole journey to the story. You really should read it or listen to it. I listened to it through through Libby. I'm thinking of Audible and Libby all together. But I listened to it through Libby and really enjoyed the story. So if you get a chance, you should check that one out and listen to it as well. Such a good story. Here I am adding the days of the week to the top of my calendar. I am going to write out August using some sweeping letters. So I'm going to write my A and then kind of make a long sweeping line, then write the next letter. I like to vary my fonts, so you can see how this one is a sweeping extended cursive. I don't know how you want to describe that. And then my days of the week are printed very small, capital letters. I'm just varying my fonts. I think that it brings more interest to the page when you do that. Here at the bottom, I am adding a flower. I'm trying to make it stick in between or pop out in between the boxes without it being in the box. And now I'm going to stamp the center right inside of each of those flowers. And I loved the lemons and the limes, but I think just having this flower here, it just brings everything together and pops out. So even though I am using stamps, you can always recreate these pages by drawing them. You can doodle some lemons, you can doodle some limes. What I do is I look at clip art, because I do like to draw as well. I look at clip art and then I just kind of copy it and draw it that way. So those are things that you can do if you don't have these stamps. You can draw it. So some different options to make your bullet journal look the way you want it to look. Here at the top, I am adding another little quote. I am going to start off by writing it in cursive, and then I will do some larger print and then smaller print. So I am writing, add some zest to your life, because we all need a little zest in our life, things that bring us joy and keep us happy. Those are my words for the year. Some people pick words for the year. Mine is happy, fun, joy. I couldn't pick one, so I have 3 words for the year. Now I'm moving on to my gratitude page. And with my gratitude page, I am again using that same type of sweeping lettering where I'm stretching out the word, writing gratitude, and then I am numbering the page down the side using that Stadler or Stadler marker. For my writing, I think I'm using 0.3 mostly for the writing. I do use 0.1 at times, but mostly 0.3. Now I'm going to add a lime to the center. You can see how, again, I only inked up one part of the image to just stamp one. You don't have to ink the whole thing up. And if you get too much on there, you can just grab a baby wipe and take away the extra. So here's my lime in the center. This is for my currently page. I didn't do a currently page last month. It's not a layout that I do all the time, but it is a layout that I enjoy. During the month of July, I had some things that I was thinking about and doing, and I didn't have a place to write it. So I decided to bring this layout back. So that's why I have it here. And that's another fun thing about bullet journaling. You can change up what you do from month to month. You don't have to keep the same layouts. If they're not working for you or you're not using them, then don't make them. Create something that you use. A bullet journal is supposed to be very functional, and if you are creating layouts that aren't of use to you, then you're wasting your time. Who wants to do that? So you can see that I am stamping some lemons on my gratitude page. I wanted to also stamp a lime next to it, so I got a Post-it and I just sort of cut around what I thought the shape of this lemon was, and I stuck it right on there, and then I was able to stamp a lime so that it looks like it's a little bit behind it, just like that. And then I did it again for the one at the top, covered up the lemon and then stamped a lime. There we go. When you're stamping with photopolymer stamps, you do want to hold it there for a moment to give the ink time to transfer to your page. It's not a quick stamp and done. You want to put it down and like count to 3, 1, 2, 3, and then lift it up, and then you'll have a really good image. So on the right side with my currently page, I am filling in the things that I'll be filling in the things that I'm currently reading, watching, visiting. So the different places that I may go, I will write where I'm visiting there. On the left side at the bottom, I am writing thinking. I did leave 2 of the sections blank because I couldn't think of what I wanted to put there, but I figure throughout the month I will decide what to add there. And I've already added one off camera, and I put listening to for music. So I'm going to put different songs or artists that I am interested in listening to. And now we are on the home stretch. I am getting ready for my weekly. So I am only going to be sharing my first weekly with you, but if you want to see more of my weeklies, you can check me out on Instagram, Maureen's Bujo Life, and I will be posting my weeklies as we go along through August. This weekly is already there, and you will see that drink from the Nothing's Better Than stamp set is also included in my weekly photo. And I also colored in the flowers. So I did a lot of different things. I just didn't want to spend so much time on camera doing all of that for you, but you can find it in the picture, and I did it the same way. I put some of the ink refill in the lid, I dabbed it with my water painter or inked it up with my water painter, and then I painted. Here on this weekly page, what I'm doing is I'm coloring in the boxes where I'm going to be writing my events. So I started off using Daffodil Delight, and now I colored it lightly or painted it lightly with the Daffodil Delight, and then I went back in and made it a little darker, and now I'm adding some green, the Granny Apple Green, and I'll be blending it just a little bit, just enough to make them touch and look like they belong together. I've never done this kind of a layout before, but I thought it would be fun. So in these sections, I'll be writing events. So if I have like an eye appointment, I will write that in this section. On the right side, I'm going to have a section for tasks. And since it's the summer, I don't have a lot of tasks, so it's a smaller section. This actually is my last bullet journal for this month. For this year, because I'm going to start a new journal for September, because September is the start of the new school year for me. So I like to have a new bullet journal for the new school year. It's just easier for me to find things that happen that school year all in one book. So that's there. If you are enjoying these stamps on this bullet journal page, I mean, look at this. I'm having so much fun and seeing how beautiful it looks. Just imagine how it looks on a card. So these stamps were really intended for card making and scrapbooking, and they are so cute on cards. If you place an order through me for $35 or more, I will send you a card using this stamp set. Either lemons, limes, might be oranges, or it might even be grapefruit. But it'll be something using this stamp set. You can use my hostess code, which is going to be shown in just a moment, and I will send you a thank you through a card that I will leave blank on the inside so that you can feel free to give it away to a friend or family member. So here I am just finishing up this page. I'm putting the borders around my events section, and you can see how it does all come together. Even though I use 2 different colors, it blends and it looks really nice. At least I think it looks nice. I love it. I'm going to finish this up. Here's my hostess code. I'm going to finish this up. I will be adding the days of the week here. Once I add another one, I'm going to add the dates because I forgot to put the dates. So I will go back up and add the dates, and then I will write the day and date on the other side. And we are coming to the home stretch. I am just about done. So remember, bullet journals they're supposed to be fun, they're supposed to be useful, and they change. That's why we create them from month to month. You don't create a whole bullet journal in one setting or sitting. You do it month by month because you may change it as you grow and change and do different things in your life. So I hope you are using your bullet journal for some fun things and writing some great events in there and some layouts. What are some layouts that you use? Leave in the comment below. Let me know what are your favorite layouts. I am always looking for more ideas and would love to hear what kind of layouts you are including in your bullet journal. You can see that I'm adding the task section there on the top, and I'm almost done. I'm going to get my zig pen and I am going to write at the top August, again using those sweeping letters, making it stretch out. I'm going to grab my markers. I am using my Granny Apple Green marker and my Daffodil Delight, and I am going to write Squeeze the Day. I'll write that after I do my flowers. I'm actually not sure if I'm going to do that in a video. That may be something that I do off camera. And if so, you will have to check it out on Instagram. But here we go, putting in my finishing touches. I'm stamping the outline of the flower. Now I'm going to stamp the center. And here's my final flip through. Thanks for tuning in. Please share this video with a friend. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Also click the bell icon to get notified when I post a video. All items can be found in the description link below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.